And welcome back to this segment of the President's Table. For this segment, I'm going to welcome two of our student guests, two of our great students here at A&M Commerce who have gotten involved in a very interesting project that has to do with oral histories, veterans of World War II in Korea. Let me introduce our two students first, Mr. Jackson Bailey and Haley Hassick. Jackson, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I'm a sophomore. I'm a history major with computer science minor, and I got involved in this project from the very beginning, and it's been a fun ride.
Good. Haley?
My name's Haley. I'm a senior. I'm a history and English double major with a minor in astronomy, and I was part of this project from before day one.
Yeah, from day one?
Yes.
Well, the project we're talking about is the War in Memory Project, and it is just a spectacular project. And I can remember talking with Dr. Eric Groover, who's the faculty advisor, pre-day one, and I thought, this is too good to be true. But I told him, full speed ahead, whatever you can do to make this thing successful. And he really wrapped his arms around it and got wonderful students such as yourselves involved, so we're very excited about it. Haley, let me ask you if you could give us just kind of the genesis of the project.
Well, our mission is to record and preserve and collect the stories of military veterans and their families. And our emphasis is World War II because of their age and their health, but we do interview through Vietnam. At some point, we'll branch out, but that's the manpower, and we have so many World War II through Vietnam veterans that that's kind of our focus right now. But, I mean, it's oral history. It's students, undergraduate students, doing history and getting to participate in a way that they don't necessarily get to do in a traditional classroom setting.
Right. So, I mean, that's one of the things that's exciting to me as an educational undertaking. We have students creating historical artifacts. They're adding to the historical record. This is part of history that only existed in veterans' minds.
Exactly.
So you're creating a repository of materials for research for really generations to come. Jack, you said you're a history major. How is it exciting for you as a history major in this discipline to be involved in it?
It's very exciting because we're working with oral histories, and you get to hear these stories right from the person who's experienced them. So as a history major, that's like the epitome of history to me, is just listening to stories and making sure that you have all the facts accurate and just learning about what happened back then. Also, this project specifically has driven me to want to become an archivist, and as a history major and working with oral histories, it's providing that for later generations. And this project is doing that, at the rate we're going, very quickly. And I think that, to me, that's just amazing, because you're preserving history. You can go back to later generations and just learn what it was like back then.
Right. Well, you're producing the kinds of documentary materials that graduate students in history, doctoral students, are going to be working with.
Yeah.
When they try to find meaning in the web of events that lead up to World War II and all the various parts in it.
Well, and that's the exciting part too, is a lot of these men and women, their families don't ask. So like their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren who are our age, they don't ask about the war stories. And so we kind of fill a void in their lives, and we're that person, and we sit around and it's like Grandpa telling us his old war stories in a way that maybe, he has never done before.
Right. Well, I know my father was a veteran. He's gone now, but he didn't enjoy talking about the war, even though he didn't have a particularly frightening experience, but he played with the Army band, actually, that's what he did. So he had a very colorful experience, very interesting. But I can remember other members of his generation, it's like, well, we've moved on. But now these veterans are, nearing the end of their lives, and I think many of them probably do feel the need, or are certainly very receptive when someone comes and asks, can you just tell us your story?
We have a lot of veterans who this is the first time they've ever really sat down and talked about it. And they tell us that. We've never told anybody, nobody asked, so we didn't bring it up. And that's, an outlet that we've provided for them.
Right.
And as when we approach them from a university standpoint and tell them that they are providing for future generations research and things like that, you can they have an outlet to tell their story and not feel like it's that we don't understand them. Mm-hmm. And we want to know the things that they experienced. And so coming to them as a researcher and an archivist, I kind of understand that aspect in wanting to preserve everything that we can,
right?
No matter the degree, I guess.
Right, right. How did you locate these individuals?
The university started an oral history project in the 1970s and then stopped and then picked it back up in the mid-2000s. And we were assigned those interviews for a class that Dr. Groover taught. So that's how we kind of got our feet wet and figured out what oral histories were and what the university had in terms of resources. And we just wanted to talk to them. We wanted to meet them, ask them a couple of questions, and if that was even a possibility.
Right.
So we started with them. We started doing follow-ups and following what the university had done, and then we started getting referrals, and it just started growing, and now it's, this thing.
People are calling you, right? Yeah. Well, that's when the project has been successful, is when, the word of mouth starts to ripple out, and more and more interest is generated. This is not the kind of project that is going to have a short time frame. I know you all are working very hard and making a lot of progress, but it really could go on long after you're through meeting students here.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, we hope until there are no more veterans that this project continues.
Right, right. I went to the lecture or talk, I guess, with the first one, General Adams, General Chris Adams, who was one of our alums, had a fascinating story to tell about the Air Force. And then I caught part of the second one he was an enlisted man.
Yes, Arlen Butler was private first class, and he was at D-Day +6, and then in the Battle of the Bulge and liberated POW camps.
Right. So just what a diverse range of experiences they had. Yeah. Jackson, you said you're interested in being an archivist, so this is a tremendous experience for you, isn't it?
It is. We work with Andrea all the time, and it's a great experience. It's very learning for me, especially.
Right.
And I hope to have fun with it in the future.
Well, before this ends, we have something for you. You've supported our project from the beginning.
Well, it's been a joy, I'll tell you.
And we thought that you...
Put in gold? There you are? Okay. Oh, this is wonderful. The East Texas War and Memory Project. So, this is tremendous. Well, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for undertaking this project, and really thank you for what you're doing for generations of scholars to come.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. We'll be back in a moment for our final segment on the President's Table.